So for week seven's assignment, we were asked the question, should the US implement universal health care? And because of the career path that I've chosen in nursing, I kind of want to say that my answer was a little biased in the beginning because automatically I wanted to say yes, of course, everybody deserves healthcare at an affordable price or free of cost. And even after my research, I actually still believe that everybody still deserves it, but I feel like my reason or my answer is kind of more supported, and I feel comfortable with saying like yes after knowing both sides of how this can affect everybody. So after my research, I found some pros and cons. And some of the pros are that it mandates healthcare professionals and hospitals to provide the same standard of care. So I really like this reason because I feel that a lot of patients are turned away because they do not have a form of payment or insurance that covers their costs. And that kind of just doesn't sit right with me. I feel like, a form of payment should be dealt with well after. I'm not saying they shouldn't be responsible, but their priority should be the health of their patient. So another reason that's a pro is that standard care can help lower healthcare cost. Another one would be the right to healthcare can save lives. The more people that would be able to go in and get checked out would prevent from existing conditions getting worse. So I feel like a lot of people, because they don't have the right coverage or just a form of payment, they stray away from getting pains checked out or just things that aren't right with them because they don't have a way to pay for them. So that also, like, when it comes to diabetes, people who kind of go in and get it checked out early on, it could even be prevented from happening or just be well controlled. And there's people out there who don't have that or can't afford insulin or things like that. So I really like those reasons as to why universal healthcare should be implemented in the US. The services with having prevention checkups and stuff like that, it strays away from people overusing the emergency rooms because many times people don't have a primary care physician to go to. So anytime that they do feel something wrong or to the point where they can't take it anymore, they automatically go into the ER, and it kind of just backs up. And I've personally been in the ER where the wait time is like 2 hours long. So yeah, that's another reason. Some of the cons that I found were that it forces healthy people to pay for other medical care. And this is kind of taken away from, taxpayers and stuff like that, which I don't fully like, obviously, because, you are getting money taken away from you, but you can only think of how many people are getting helped with that money that you are able to, get taken away from you to help others. So I feel like it wouldn't benefit everybody because, not everybody has a career-wise or a stable job or things like that. Or maybe they're just making ends meet and they're still getting taxes to pay for others' medical expenses. But if it were up to me, I wouldn't mind too much. I mean, it also depends on how much is being taken away, but I personally, I don't think it would be too much of a burden. So one of the cons that they think why universal healthcare would not be a good idea is because people might not be as careful with their health because they aren't financially responsible for it. So when somebody else is paying for it, some people just might take it as like, well, it's not coming out of my pocket type of thing. so they're not, you know, eating the way that they're supposed to be eating, exercising regularly, or things like that, because they know that there's gonna be something there to, in case something goes wrong, they have, you know, the care that they need. There would be longer wait times for elective procedures, and this kind of is understandable just because there'd be so much more people to take care of that maybe haven't got these procedures for financial reasons. So now the wait times are longer, and you know, your appointments would be scheduled out way down the line. But I feel like it's not such a big deal because they, you know, clinics and offices and hospitals, they prioritize. Doctors know who needs to have this procedure done right away and who, you know, can be scheduled a little bit further out. So I don't think that's really too much of a con. Again, it would be funded by the taxes. This would affect healthcare providers, like the doctors and stuff, because the right to healthcare can lower the doctor's earnings. But doctors, you know, they make so much more money already than the regular people. So I feel like they could take a little hit or two if it means that they get to help, and they're doctors. That should be their sole purpose. I mean, I feel like healthcare profession, apart from just being like a steady career, like you really have to like your job. You really have to want to help people. And it's not just always like about the money. Like, yes, you get paid great, but it's the satisfaction you get from patients, you know, thanking you or just being appreciated by somebody. It beats it all. Because doctors would be earning less, there might be a chance that maybe not too many people would want to proceed to get into that profession, which would cause a shortage of doctors, and that's not always great. But I feel like healthcare is always going to be around, and even if it's not because of the earnings, I mean, if people stray away from it because they're not making as much, I feel like people would still kind of find their way back to it because it is a steady job that's going to be around forever. And yeah, those are my pros and cons from the question that was asked. And to me, I think yes, the U.S. should implement universal health care.